Now we have a Git repository. Let's create a new file, touch test.js. Now we have a new file, and you can see there's a U letter after the file here, which means we have a new file, but it's not being tracked, which means Git does not know this is a source code or not, whether to keep the file history or not. So we tell Git this is a piece of source code that we won't track the history. You just use git add. Once you use git add, you can see the U becomes A. What does that mean? So the file you see now here is a piece of source code that is in your working directory. So this is the file where you see on your hard drive, where it is saved. If I use this, actually this is the file explorer here. Code, git demo, test. That's the test.js file. But remember, there are a whole bunch of hidden files. Let's show the hidden files. There's .git folder. There are two folders here. Actually, these two folders will save files that are staged. So what is a staged file? If I type something here, say const x equals 5, console log x, what does that mean? You can see here the A becomes M, which means this file has been added to Git repository or has been tracked, but there's new modification that is not tracked. When you use git add, it will remember the place where you added the file, and any further changes will not be committed when you use git commit, which means the further changes, these two lines of code, will be disregarded if I take a snapshot, because these codes are added after the git add. So if you want to add the latest changes, you have to add again, git add test.js. Now you can see the M becomes A. So if you see git status, you will see, okay, there's a new file. It is being tracked, but no snapshot has been taken yet. So there are three areas. The first area is the stuff you see here. If you make changes after a file has been added or staged, add is also called staged, those new changes will not be reflected when you commit. So that staged files are saved under the .git folder, like this little .git folder. Under this .git folder, there's also a hidden database. It will save a copy of this file when you use git commit. So we already staged the latest changes. That's why it's A here. So the latest changes have been staged. We can use git commit with a message initial commit. So what happens? Okay, a copy of this file is saved into the hidden database, which is also under this .git folder, the blue guy. So remember, there are three areas. This can be very confusing. The first area is your working directory, is what you can see here. And if you make some changes without stage it, what happens is that Git will let you know this file is modified, but the latest modification are not staged. So you need to stage it, or by git add. Once you have staged the changes, Git will know, okay, you already have the latest files. Did we already git add test.js? Or we didn't? We already saved, yeah. So this file is modified, you haven't committed yet, and you can just use git commit. M second commit. You can see now we have taken two snapshots of the history. Git log. Oh, there are these yellow things. What are these? These are the hash keys. The Git repository in the database, they use hash keys to store different commit. See, initial commit, second commit. If you want to see the difference between the initial and second commit, you can use git diff. Let's see the difference between the first and second commit. Let's copy this guy. Copy. Let's clean terminal. Git diff. It will see, okay, what's the difference between the two versions? If const x equals 5 and console log x is removed, then it's probably these are new code. So basically, this line doesn't change. I probably just included one extra white space, extra new line. Yeah. Then I added another file. So that's the difference between the two versions of your file. So it's very convenient. So basically, you make some changes. You can trace the history of changes between any two versions. Use git diff. And you can take snapshot with git commit. And the copy, a snapshot of the file will be sent to your database. If you use git add, you're telling Git, okay, I'm happy with my changes. All the changes up to this point should be added to the database. Any future changes without git add will be ignored. So you have three areas: your working area, your staging area, which is some files under that hidden folder, .git. And if you commit a file, a snapshot is saved into that hidden database, another area called, committing area, the Git repository. And remember, if you have multiple files, 10 different files, if you just change the one file, Git will not copy the remaining 9 files when it takes a snapshot or stage the file. It will just put pointers to point to the previous files to save space. Yeah, it only saves the new files. Old files, it will point to the old files without creating a complete duplicate. Okay, so that's git add, git commit. One other thing, if you want to untrack a file, say you can use git remove cache, and then you can use test.js. So you will no longer track changes to this file. Okay, thank you.